What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dove. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
So JJ Wang, it's been a big weekend. The Super Bowl is set. It's ready to go. It looks like it's going to be a stellar game. And in honor of that, this is episode 50. We've made it halfway to the century mark. Who would have thunk the Fantasy Couriers would make it this far?
Honestly, probably. I don't think I really felt that, honestly. But, hey, here we are, 50 shows later. Kudos to us. Good job, man.
Yeah, we can keep talking. We'll go on forever. So yeah, hit us up on Fantasy Couriers at Couriers Fantasy on Twitter, email the Fantasy Couriers at gmail.com, Instagram the Fantasy Couriers. If you're listening on Facebook or go to Facebook, our podcast is embedded there. It makes it really easy. Turn on your phone, push play, listen to us. Our listenership looks like it's coming back up. Everybody's out of that funk of not making the playoffs. Now they're getting ready for the next season. We'll carry you into that next season. We're going to spend January sort of recapping the season, today's episode, especially the next couple ones, and then we will jump right back into it right after the Super Bowl. You can hit us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Music, anywhere you listen to us, we are there. We are looking to grow our YouTube viewership. You see us, we're both looking good. JJ Wang is celebrating being a dad today with his shirt. Did she make it for you?
She got it for me for my birthday or something. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Can't remember what it was, but
yeah,
I didn't even realize that was a shirt I had on there. All right.
You're dead.
All right.
I wore mine on purpose. One of my favorite bands released their album this week. They're called Seventh Day Slumber. It's called Death by Admiration. Pretty nice, loud rock band that we get to go see, and I've talked to them multiple times. Pretty cool dudes. Great stories they have. But yeah, so it's a cool T-shirt week. If you're listening to the podcast, just imagine, look up being a dad. That's what JJ Wang is. He's loving it. Had his daughter this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Seventh Day Slumber, awesome band as well. But yeah, episode 50, a little bit of cool news. This week I got to guest on our buddy Jeff's podcast.
I did listen to that. Y'all did a good job.
Yeah, oh, thank you. So yeah, he talked about, it was a podcast where he's talking about faith. So he's talking more about, I have a side project where I do a dad's podcast.
I have listened to that a couple of times too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Hey, just because I don't say anything or say anybody about anything at all doesn't mean I don't listen. But yeah, I've actually listened to a couple episodes off of Jeff's and yours as well. So y'all do a good job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, his for anybody who's looking, it's called Thanks for Sharing. He's got it focused into like a husband, dad, and community sharing. He hits tough subjects. So we talked about like faith and how to live with it, but we did spend about 5 minutes in there, 5-10 minutes talking about Fantasy Couriers and how the two of us got back together and talked about our boy Scott and just
all about that connection, right?
Yeah, it's all about the connection. That's what fantasy is. I don't do it for money anymore. Money's great. I love to get the money. And my DraftKings account hopefully is swole. But yeah, so it's kind of a fun thing, and maybe we'll hit some more as we go through hitting some. It'd be cool to guest podcasts if you're listening. You want us, JJ Wang, DJ Dove, hit us up. But let's jump into this week. This week we're gonna start. We got two little bits of news, and then this is our stinker week. We're gonna talk about guys that we're just done with. But the shocker of the week, I think, was Sean Payton, quote unquote, retiring. He said he's not calling it retiring because he knows he's going to be back. But what are the immediate repercussions for the Saints?
I think it's early enough. I don't think it's that big. I don't think they would have any issues finding a job. I mean, that team is in cap penalty
purgatory.
That's a good word. That's what I was looking for.
I'm smart this week.
Next year, so next year is going to be really bad. So I don't think they're going to go into the season thinking next year is going to be much of anything. So we're going to get a coach I think they're willing to give a couple of years to, and then they can come start all back over. But as far as Sean Payton goes, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is what should have happened probably, I guess, 12, 13, 14 years ago.
Erica's team
should have been the coach of the Cowboys. I mean, I don't get how you – I mean, I understand. I think Parcells was the coach at the time. I'm correct. I understand why you can't fire Parcells. You know, I get it. But you know what? It was Sean Payton. I mean, everybody knew he was good, and you just let him go, and we ended up with Jason Garrett and years of suckiness. But anyway, back to the Saints. I think I don't think there's going to be an issue finding a coach at this point.
Well, what about the team themselves? You think they're going to blow it up? What is it going to affect Kamara? Will a new coach come in? I mean, my brother, he likes when I mentioned him on air. He said, "Hey, you mentioned me again," and I were talking, and he's like, really, or maybe it wasn't him. It was someone. I'm sorry, brother, it's not you. This is another. But they were talking about the real immediate person is going to be Taysom Hill. Payton loves Taysom Hill, and he's expensive, so dump him. That's going to save you money. And
But the way that I don't even know what that whole contract was set up. But that whole contract was set up to where whatever it said it was really wasn't what he was. He wasn't like $160 million.
But each year is expensive.
I'm pretty sure they can cut him and not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Taysom Hill is the reason they're in cap penalties like that. I don't know what it is. Like they said, just years and years of pushing it back, trying to win, I guess.
And Michael Thomas not playing, and
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how they approach the Kamara situation with him getting older. I mean, they got to get rid of Thomas because he just shouldn't be there. Who will be the quarterback? I mean, it'll be an interesting offseason for that team. And if they say, "Hey, new coach, let's build it from the bottom up, trade out people." I mean,
yeah, Payton don't want to do a rebuild at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of coaches coming in. We'll probably do a show where we'll talk about the coaches and where they hit. The other one, which might be finalized to listen to, might not, is Tom Brady. It's been reported from ESPN that Schefter, I believe, said he's gonna retire. Brady sort of said, "I'm not made an announcement yet." Is he retiring or not?
When Brady says it, then I'll believe it. But like I said, I mean, if he would have won, I would have seen him coming back again. With him losing, I can understand why he goes out. Like I said, I'm not jumping too much into it until I'm for sure once Brady says it, and then I'll believe it. Then he'll be back in 2 years because he gets the itch.
Kyle Trask show, or are they going to get someone else?
Oh God, no.
I've heard some guys like, "We love Trask." I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Maybe, I don't know. I never watched Trask much in college, so
I've heard Jameis. I've heard, why don't they bring Aaron Rodgers in? That would just be not fair. So, short note: if Tom Brady leaves, how much do you fade those receivers?
Oh, I guess it just depends on who's coming in. I mean, if they let Kyle Trask play quarterback, then probably 0. But heck, if they even bring somebody like James,
I've heard Kirk Cousins.
Or Kirk Cousins, I mean, it's fine with me. As long as they bring in somebody competent, Cousins can obviously maintain 2 top receivers. He's done it in Minnesota, so Cousins wouldn't be a bad decision, I guess.
Yep. So those are the 2 news and the 2 bits of news. There's a lot of news coming up, but we'll hit that as we go on. But let's go into today. We're celebrating 50 episodes, but you know what? Episode 50 is not going to be about celebration. We're gonna dump on some guys. These are guys that we're done with you. You screwed us over, so we're going to fold on you. We call this episode Guys We Folded On. And we're going to go through the quarterback, running back, receiver, a tight end, and then I got a flex guy in here. And it's interesting. Our quarterback was the same guy. You've always hated him. I'm a fan of him, but he just sort of pooed the bed for the most part this year. These were the stats for my championship game with him as my starter: 16 of 27, 148 yards, and a touchdown. That does not get it done, Mr. Carson Wentz.
Yeah, to be fair, I've not always hated him. I like him. I mean, I like Carson Wentz. It's just hard to like losers, man. It's hard to like people that don't play good. I mean, if you don't play good, I'm not going to like. That's the whole episode. That's the whole point of this show. You don't play good, I don't like you. That's just how it goes. You play good next year, I'll jump back on the train. I've got no issues with that. Just play better, man. I mean, I thought he was going to be more of a Kirk Cousins type.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I pictured Carson Wentz.
That's
not how that turned out. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about. I can't trust him at all, man. I can't go into him next year. I wouldn't even draft this guy. I wouldn't draft this guy anywhere next year. How do you feel about it?
I mean, he is the roller coaster of quarterbacks versus Baltimore, a decent defense. He had 402 and 2 touchdowns versus that stellar defense of Houston. He threw for 158 yards and a touchdown. So, and that was the second one, but he was up and down. He started out, the beginning of the year, 251, 247, 194, 228, 400, 200. He looked like he might be serviceable, especially because they're a running team. So Kirk Cousins is a good comp, that you expect him to be. He's not your QB1 ever, but he's your QB2 on a 2 quarterback teams. And I thought I'd be solid there, but he just did me in. I mean, you go to the New England game with 57 yards, a touchdown, interception. That was just a kick in the butt. But yeah, Carson Wentz is going to be. I mean, problem is I'm stuck with him. He's my dynasty him and Tua. So it's going to be a tough decision next year for me behind Lamar. But let's do your running back or consensus quarterback. We each have 2 different running backs. Who do you got?
So my running back, I ended up having him a lot of places, whatever, like with redraft. I got a couple places in Dynasty as well. And it's CEH. I mean, of course, coming in, we all thought he was going to be great in that offense. But for some reason, you would think he's the type of back that would transcend? I don't know, transcend, work well. I don't know what word I was trying to find. Work well with that offense, but it just hasn't happened. He's not the receiving back we all thought he was. Everybody looks better when they come in. I mean, Gore looked good when they come in. Of course, Darrell Williams looked good. Gore, even McKinnon looked decent when he came in. But like, Hilaire just isn't like that back that we all thought he was. I mean, he's more like that low-end RB2, I guess. Pictured him more as a low-end RB1, high-end RB2. So probably won't put much stock into him next year. Of course, he was hurt half the year this year. Just doesn't score very many touchdowns. He doesn't get the receiving. So, I mean, really, where is his value? I'll probably fold it on him. On to the next guy.
Yeah, I gave up. In one of our dynasty leagues, I was desperate for running backs. I gave up the ranch for a bunch of picks for him because I had to try, and he did me in. So yeah, heck with him. I was gonna go with Zeke, but the numbers for me, like Zeke let me down this year, but he still scored 10 touchdowns. So I can't quite fold on him, and I need him because he's like my best running back on one of my teams. So we talked about this before. It's not quite a fold. I think it's just a congratulations. You had a chance to have a career year and your career folded thanks to Cordero Patterson. So my guy is Mike Davis. I didn't expect him to be Jonathan Taylor. I also didn't expect him to be me in a pair of pads, but that's generally what we got out of him. I mean, when you're the starting running back, 1, 2, but when you have 3 rushing touchdowns, that doesn't handle it. His highest rush total was 15 in the first week, and then he only had 4 other weeks where he had over 9 touches. They weren't giving him touches.
Other 9 touches like at the end of the season?
No, actually, the first 5 weeks he had 15, 9, 12, 13, 13. Then it was 4, 9, 9, 9, 4, 5, 3, 11 in week 14. But he had those sneaky touchdowns there towards the end. Like he had the
that's what I feel like what happened. He was, he was in the picture in the beginning of the year, and then Cordero Patterson kind of took over in the middle, and then I feel like Cordero kind of faded away a little bit, and they started to bring Mike Davis back in at the end of the year. But overall, I mean, I didn't really think too much of Mike Davis, but yeah, kind of disappointing. Thought he would play a bigger role than that. That team, that offense as a whole was kind of disappointing though.
Well, the interesting thing about him is when he got the totes, he was averaging 3 to 4 yards, 3.5, a little bit over 4 yards a carry, which is pretty good for running back. But they once they saw Patterson, they wanted the scat back more so than the big scat back. So they still rushed them, and they just sent him down the drain. So I mean, we said it before the show. Mike Davis had a chance to have a great year. We should have seen the writing we should have seen it in the tea leaves when he last year for Carolina puttered out towards the end.
It's Mike Davis, man.
I wasn't expecting Barmers, but I thought he was a solid RB2. And I can say I think I played him twice all year when I traded for him and Mostert. Wow, that worked out well. So my receiver and I have a history with each other. My receiver's name is Allen Robinson. And many years ago, he had a stellar year in Jacksonville, 80 for 1,040 and 14 yards. And that year, he actually cost me a playoff spot because he had this really long catch at the end of a game, and it cost me going to the playoffs in one of my leagues where my team was on the cusp and could have competed in the playoffs. So I was all in on Allen Robinson. And then he basically pooed to bed again. And then he tore his ACL. And then he came to Chicago. Was okay the first year, then 98 receptions, 102 receptions. I'm like, dude, this guy seems to be quarterback proof because he had Blake Bortles and then whoever in Chicago is throwing to him at that moment. He's going to have a great year. So I gave up some good draft capital, needed him as a good wide receiver 2 or 3. And Lo and behold, Allen Robinson had 38 receptions for 410 yards and a touchdown. Allen Robinson, I'm folded on you. I'm done on you. I will never trust you again. Thank God you're going to be 29 when the season starts. And wait, is that right? Oh, yeah, 29 when the season starts. So you'll be done.
Yeah, I've never been. I mean, of course, I don't know. I've already been like a good fantasy player most of the time, but I've never had a lot of inventory in Allen Robinson, so I can't be mad at him the way you are. I'll point all my hate toward the guy that I'm about to bring up here in a second. But yeah, Allen Robinson, bad quarterback play, not great. Team's not great. Hopefully, I think we'll probably end up somewhere else next year.
Oh, he's gone.
He's a free agent. Is he a free agent?
He's gone. Mooney took over.
Yeah. Is he a free agent, or are they going to just trade?
He's free agent.
No, he's free
I believe he's a free agent. Someone can catch me, but I believe he's a free agent this year. But Mooney took over. They saw Mooney get another young guy in there, sign someone who's going to be cheaper than Robinson. So,
yes,
because they capped him last year. That's what he was. He was tagged last year.
Speaking of somebody who should probably be a free agent,
I'll be playing football.
To be fair, this guy's still really young. Not every receiver can be Justin Jefferson and break out. Sometimes receivers take a couple of years.
Year 3 is next year for him.
As of right now, I'm not impressed, and that's my guy's Bryan Edwards. When Zay Jones looks better than you, there's an issue, right? Going into the season, Bryan Edwards was supposed to be good, but Zay Jones is more involved. If you can't beat out Zay Jones and take over targets from Zay Jones, there's an issue. He had a good game here. I don't know if he really even had a good game. He had three touchdown games. So 3 games he was decent. Other than that, unreliable, crap. It's 2 years in a row. It's pretty much the same production. There's passing volume there. Like, he just can't get the ball. I don't know if they don't like him or he just can't get open. I don't know. Until further notice, I am done with Bryan Edwards. I can't take it anymore.
I got to admit, season thing to be someone. Darren Waller didn't play the last month and a half of the season.
Yeah.
He still had 19 more receptions than this dude.
Yeah, man.
Renfro's breakout season didn't help. I think that was the big shocker for that. But yeah, I'm with you. I loved him.
Yeah, there's enough volume there for at least him to be relevant, like a wide receiver 3 sometimes. But yeah,
he did out yard Zay Jones, but it's only by luck because Zay Jones looks so good towards the end of the year getting some.
Well, yeah, Zay Jones didn't even play the first half of the season.
Yeah. He still out yarded Zay Jones. On paper, when they do the stats next year, they'll go he out yarded Zay Jones.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my wide receiver. We're gonna jump over here to your favorite position. I'll do my tight end first, and then I'll let you jump on yours.
Mine's controversial.
I kind of like yours a little bit, but my guy's Noah Fant. Had a lot of faith coming into him this year. But to be fair, everybody on that offense looks like crap unless you're a running back. It just, like I said, the targets aren't there. He had like 11 target game, a 10 target game, but that was all in the first half of the season. And after that, it was, I don't even think he didn't have a touchdown until week 17. So he's just not involved. Maybe they get another quarterback. Aaron Rodgers possibly might change a little something, but even in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers has never been like a great big tight end guy. I know homeboy last year had a lot of touchdowns, but as far as like receiving volume goes, but yeah, my guy, Noah Fant. I'm done. Move on. Next guy.
Your guy only had 3 less receptions than my guy.
Really?
My guy had a better yard per reception. Yeah, your guys had 68. Mine had 71. Now,
and all your guys' receptions come in like 3 games.
Yeah, my guy, I'm not saying I would never own. I'm saying at the draft cost that you're going to pay for him, I'm done with it. And he's always hurt somehow or another going down, getting up. My guy is George Kittle. Is George Kittle a stellar football player? Yes. Is he the best blocking tight end in football? I would argue that, unless you're a standard just blocker. But he is a stellar. He loves to block. Seeing him block is the most amazing thing in football. But I'm just fed up. This year he had some great games, some stinkers, and then he's hurt. In the last year he only played 8 games. This year he played 14 out of 18, so he missed 4. And tight end should be a fairly dependable position unless you have Gronk, obviously. I've suffered through that too. But George Kittle's going to still be a top 3 tight end, as he should be based on talent. But you're going to end up giving up a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. And to give that up and not know if he's going to stay healthy, and I think you and I both think Trey Lance is going to be good. maybe Trey Lance doesn't throw to the tight end. We don't know. He's going to be running around. Maybe we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there. I think Kittle will be good, but I think at his trade value, at his draft value, I'm folding on George Kittle this year. And because he just nipped me in the butt, I'm glad I did a late season trade to get Travis Kelce as opposed to Kittle, because I'll take Kelce for the next 2 years versus Kittle. I mean, they're like 5 years apart, but still, I can trade something out later. But yeah, George Kittle, I'm not done with you, but at your draft capital, you'll be next year. I'm folding.
Yeah,
if anybody wants him, he's for sale.
He was the epitome of a boomer bust tight end, man. You go for 30 points and then get a target the next game. I'm like, geez, what are you doing, bro? See, that's why Garoppolo's got to go, man.
I mean, we could have said Waller.
We could have said
Waller. I just, it is. So our consensus flex guy is a guy you don't really like anyway.
No, I was that. But I mean, I just agree with you on this one.
You do.
Yeah.
You haven't folded. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's coming back from an injury. He had 162 rushes for 593 yards, but he was at 3.7 yards per attempt. And for a back he came out of college. I was all on the Barkley train. This dude is a monster. I thought he was going to be the next best Adrian. I thought he was Adrian Peterson 2.0, and he has underachieved. He doesn't look comfortable. Like, he might fall into that Kittle thing. I don't know. Or do you buy him on the cheap next year? You don't like him at all. So you won't even fold on him because you won't have the card.
I'm not, like I said, I folded on Saquon Barkley before the season started last year. But you were still on it. Now that you bring him up, I mean, like I say, yeah, I can't have him, man. It's sketchy.
Next year, if Saquon Barkley's there, what round would you draft him if he were available and you were drafting in a redraft? What's the earliest you would take him?
Oh man, he would be my RB3. I mean, I'm not taking him before.
Wow,
I can't.
5, 4.
I like to get all my running backs kind of early, but like round 4 or 5 is probably, but he's not going to be there, of course.
Yeah.
I can't. You've only been able to trust him once in his entire career. Is he a free? I mean, has he gotten paid yet? He hasn't gotten paid yet, has he?
This is year 5, so I'm sure they picked it. Year 5's coming up, so I'm assuming they picked up the option.
They picked up his option.
They got it.
You can't pay him, can you?
I don't know. They're the Giants. They're still saying Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Who knows? I have no clue.
I wouldn't pay a running back anything that you've only got 1 year out of, and it was his rookie year. How are you going to pay that guy money? Got crazy, man.
Depends what he asks. He'll be in Miami. Don't worry about it. We'll waste our money on him. So, but yep, those were our stinkers. If you have some stinkers you like, feel free to pop them in the message board, pop them on Facebook, pop them on our Twitter page. But as we get out of here, we're getting excited for the Super Bowl. We do have 1 week of no football because, well, are they even playing the Pro Bowl? I don't even know. Because I never watch it because it's terrible.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't even know if they have it.
It's terrible. It's not even worth talking about. But if you watch that, sorry. Yeah. Enjoy the popularity contest.
I think they should bring back the skills competition during that. Was fun. I like that. I remember
that was good when we were a kid.
A staple of my youth was the skills competition. I love the skills.
So good. So good. So yeah. So
before we leave, dude, who you got real quick today?
Who do I got?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping the Rams and Chiefs, hopefully. So we'll see if I'm rooting for the Rams and the Bengals, but I could be proven wrong totally because someone's on Friday could be, haha, you're wrong. What do you think?
I'm hoping for Cincinnati, and I really want the 49ers. I want the 49ers to win, but like I said, I'm a Rams and 49ers fan, so either way, it's
Rams got to win it all, so I can be right.
The Shanahan system is somehow going to be in the Super Bowl either way, so it's going to be some good offenses. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. It's going to be a lot of points, maybe, unless the 49ers get in there. 49ers could have some bad
7-3.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see, man. But as always, Super Bowl coming up. Enjoy. It's about to be some boring times for us football guys.
No, this is the best time. Trade, baby.
Yeah, and as always, trust yourself and trust the process.